The ancient ruins of Pompeii have always held a fascination for archaeologists, but the latest discovery has left them reeling. A forbidden room, sealed off for centuries, has been uncovered, and what lies within has left the team of experts frozen with terror. What dark secrets does the room hold? Why was it forbidden in the first place? And what horrors await those who dare to enter? Let's delve deep into this mystery and unravel the secrets of the past. The Roman city of Pompeii was destroyed by an eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the year 79 AD. One eyewitness saw dust sweeping through the land like a torrent, casting a pall of gloom over the populace. There were thousands of casualties, and Pompeii was abandoned for decades. The city was preserved by volcanic ash, however, and was found by explorers in 1748. As a result, archaeologists and other specialists flocked to Pompeii to learn from its ruins. They get a taste of what it was like to live in the distant past there. Even after centuries of research, Pompeii continues to yield surprises. In addition, in 2021, a forbidden room was uncovered by archaeologists, shedding light on the lives of slaves before their destruction. Archaeologists recently excavated a via outside of Pompeii and uncovered this discovery. They discovered a hidden room that contained 3 wooden beds, as well as a chamber pot, jars, and pitchers. It was inhabited by slaves who were technically not humans, but rather property under Roman law. The underground slave room can be found in the historic Civita Juliana mansion. A ceremonial vehicle and the bones of horses were discovered near the stables earlier in the year. A wooden trunk with metal and fabric components that might have been horse harnesses sat atop the mattresses of the slaves. This means that the stables were probably taken care of by the slaves. 2 of the beds measured 5.6 feet in length, while the third, likely intended for a youngster, measured 4.6 feet or about 1.4 meters. According to Franceschini, a family of slaves once occupied that space. There were 8 large Roman jars stacked in the 4 corners, so they could possibly be used for storage. This is a window into the precarious reality of people who seldom appear in historical sources, said Gabriel Zutriegel, Director General of the Archaeological Park of Pompeii. As the authors put it, it aids in the discovery of a previously unknown but crucial region of the ancient world. The researchers were taken aback by the cramped conditions of the 16 square meter room. What is most striking is the cramped and precarious nature of the room, which was something between a dormitory and a storage room. There was no evidence of decorating, and the only possible source of natural light was a tiny window high up on one of the walls. Historians recognize that slavery was crucial to the expansion of the Roman Empire, but the treatment of slaves by their masters was unknown. This find provides a unique window into the experience of slavery. The most widely read accounts of the past were written by individuals of privilege and riches. This means that people of color and slaves risk remaining invisible in the great historical accounts, as Zutriegel put it. Researchers are hoping to learn more about slavery in the Roman Empire by analyzing and excavating the slave room. It is certainly one of the most exciting discoveries during my life as an archaeologist, even without the presence of great treasures, Zutriegel remarked. The essential value of this space lies in the testimony it provides in the lives of the most helpless individuals of an ancient society. Pompeii as an archaeological site is the longest continually excavated site in the world, remarked Stephen Ellis, professor of classics at the University of Cincinnati and co-director of the Porta Stabia excavation at Pompeii. For this reason, we discover in Pompeii that every breakthrough in the science of archaeology was tried out there, with varying degrees of success. Public structures and luxurious mansions are the focus of a great deal of study. However, Ellis and his group were curious about working-class lifestyles, so they dug up an undeveloped part of the city. It's part of a town that the city has forgotten about. He said they left this block for ruin because it had no huge vias, and it was covered over with a dreadful jungle of plants when they first cleared it of rubbish in the 1870s. They arrived at a typical suburban community complete with homes and stores. It's macabre to think how many lives were cut short on that single street. We're digging in an area where a lot of Pompeians died during the eruption, he explained. I always remind myself that the reason I am able to study the Roman civilization in such depth is because of a terrible event in human history. When the day of hard thinking and physical labor comes to a close and the tools are put away for the night, I like to pause and reflect on the people whose homes and workshops we are excavating. Exploring slums and slave quarters reveals previously hidden realities. For a very long time, the elite controlled the course of events. With any luck, future discoveries will help spread the nearly forgotten tales. Pliny's mother was the first to observe the warning signs, which consisted of smoke billowing from the mountain. Pliny the Younger claims that a cloud rose into the sky before spreading out like a pine tree, although he does not specify which mountain the cloud originated from. By turning down his uncle's offer to join him on a rescue boat headed for Vesuvius, the younger man was spared the fate that would have claimed his life and allowed to write about the eruption that would kill entire cities in a single day. Pliny would rather have been at home with his history books. These kinds of ups and downs may be found throughout the history of Pompeii, and the lives rescued and lost, and the artifacts kept and forgotten. More and more are uncovered with each fresh dig. Pompeii has been excavated continuously since 79 AD, the year it was buried by ash and lava. The initial visitors likely included both treasure hunters and disaster tourists, as well as former Pompeii residents looking to reclaim personal belongings. Pompeii, contrary to popular belief, has never been a town that has stood still in time. There is reasonable enthusiasm at this week's announcement that archaeologists have begun excavating a new region of the site, as nearly a third of the town has still to be excavated. In addition, Rome's attention was rarely drawn to Pompeii for positive reasons. In 59 AD, it hosted bloody gladiatorial contests that erupted into the streets. The locals of Nuceria who came to Pompeii for a day trip were so brutally attacked that their survivors took their bodies all the way to Rome to lodge a protest. There was a 10-year moratorium on sporting events in Pompeii. Since the city was buried by pumice and ash rather than molten lava, in addition, Rome's attention was rarely drawn to Pompeii for positive reasons. In 59 AD, it hosted bloody gladiatorial contests that erupted into the streets. The locals of Nuceria who came to Pompeii for a day trip were so brutally attacked that their survivors took their bodies all the way to Rome to lodge a protest. There was a 10-year moratorium on sporting events in Pompeii. It was the town's destruction, along with those of adjacent settlements, that ironically gave the area its name recognition. Pliny's first-hand account is a big reason why we know so much about what happened. However, there is still a great deal that we don't understand. The date of the catastrophic eruption is also up for debate. According to Pliny, the first appearance of clouds in the sky occurred 9 days before the calends of September. However, plant remains discovered in the area's excavation suggest the date was later in the autumn, casting doubt on this theory. Pliny's letter has been copied by scribes throughout the ages, and mistakes may slip into copies when this happens. All of this adds to the allure of Pompeii's mysteries. Things are rarely as certain as they first appear. Since the city was buried by pumice and ash rather than molten lava, visitors interested in seeing multi-story ancient structures should head to Herculaneum instead of Pompeii. While a pyroclastic rush of hot gas and ash destroyed Herculaneum and rapidly murdered its occupants, much of Pompeii's higher levels were destroyed by massive flying chunks of rock. Pliny informs Tacitus that his uncle took a break from trying to evacuate people from the area around the volcano so that he could sleep. His rescuers had to wake him up to get him out of the room before the stones in the courtyard smashed through the window. Pliny claims that if they had waited any longer, they would have been unable to unlock the door. However, it is moot because his uncle perishes in the explosion. The death toll's likewise up for discussion. So far, nearly two-thirds of Pompeii has been excavated, and researchers have discovered 1,100 human remains there. As a result, 2,000 deaths could have occurred there. It's likely that the rest of the inhabitants fled when the earthquakes that preceded the eruption, which Pliny also describes, were too severe to ignore. It's a bummer to have to remind myself that the main goal of these new excavations is to keep the site safe from further harm, rather than to discover incredible frescoes of Greek myths or revelations about first-century snack bars, because there's so much to look forward to discovering over the next few years. The discovery of a thermopolium, or a store selling heated food, in 2020, however, has satisfied both of these needs at once. The type of food sold at this fast food business may have been indicated by the rooster and duck decorations on the counter. Another more impressive painting showed a nereid, or sea nymph, on the back of a seahorse swimming through a school of fish. In the years that Pompeii has been attracting visitors, attitudes toward ancient artifacts have evolved significantly. Back in the day, when dignitaries came to see a site, archaeologists would hide their most recent finds near the surface. Even while this sort of behavior would be frowned upon today, we can't be too harsh on the people who are just wanting to keep money coming into their dig from whichever royal or other VIPs came to visit. Even though the primary goal of the current dig is conservation rather than discovery, fresh information about Pompeii will be uncovered and our understanding of the city will advance. To protect the remaining structures from collapses, archaeologists will be excavating Region 9. Will further frescoes of Leda and Jupiter, posing as a swan, be uncovered as they dig? Or is this evidence that this small community has connections to the larger world? The ivory figurine of the Indian goddess Yakshi is one of the most impressive artifacts on Earth at Pompeii. That's all for the video today, but we'll be right back with more interesting information. Until then, give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.